Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this special Sports Day edition of the Headmaster's blog. It's Friday, the 24th of June. And let me start this bulletin by offering my warm congratulations to the Year 11 cohort, who yesterday were exhilarated at the culmination of their GCSE examinations. The last 2 years have not been kind to schools in general, and I think in particular these pupils have suffered more than most in terms of their home school pattern of learning, hybrid learning, whatever you want to call it. But they have done themselves, I think, great credit by settling back into the school routine, working hard, showing real gusto and endeavour in keeping with our values and not complaining at all. And during the course of this exam season, they have been marvellous ambassadors for the school. I know that you'll be feeling incredibly relieved. I'm sure some of your teaching staff and the exams officer will as well. And we look forward, hopefully, to seeing you reap your just desserts on Results Day in August. And we look forward to seeing you at the Year 11 barbecue, which is coming up very quickly. And, of course, an opportunity to pay a proper tribute to you and, indeed, many other people at prize giving before the end of the term. Now, it seems a little while ago already, but last Friday afternoon, we were in the midst of Marlborough House Day. It was yet again a beautiful day, and pupils and parents had come up with some very creative and enterprising stalls. Everybody had a wonderful time, and yet again we've raised a staggering sum of money for one of the school charities, so do look out for that in the newsletter. Equally, after the success of a very busy sixth form event hosted here at school a couple of weeks ago, Mr Sickdeo and Mrs Black have met with Year 10 families online to discuss their potential options for sixth form. Always a bit daunting thinking about life beyond Kingswood House, but for these Year 10s it is very much becoming a reality. We will follow up with you very early in September, by which time hopefully you will have had some very crystallised thoughts about your next steps, and we will guide you along every step of the way, rest assured of that. Miss Patel has been conspicuous by her absence over the last couple of weeks. She's been incredibly busy with Duke and Venables trips. I am most grateful to her for giving up the time for this really important co-curricular activity, very much in keeping with our preparation for life mantra. Last week she was out on a bronze expedition, and this week she has been undertaking a silver expedition with some willing students. I don't know how she does it. She must have a direct line, but the weather has been most conducive for the expeditions. She certainly will not have been cold at night, and I think during the course of the day they've had some beautiful conditions for their expedition. So thank you very much, Miss Patel. Thank you also to Mr Hendry, Mr Lordy, who I know have chipped in as well along the way, and well done, gentlemen, for all of your sterling work, and hopefully you have found it to be a really useful and enjoyable couple of days. On Wednesday, Mr Mitchell delivered a very important assembly all about LGBT and Pride Month, which is celebrated in June, obviously to raise awareness of diversity and inclusion. And he talked about Alan Turing, whose birthday it was yesterday, the genius mathematician who, of course, is of World War II fame in terms of all of the code breaking from Bletchley Park. And he also referenced Quentin Crisp, a former Kingswood House boy who was a well-known celebrity and actor in the 20th century. For many years his name was persona non grata here at Kingswood House because of his sexuality, but I'm pleased to say that we were able to articulate about him today as a sign that times really have changed. Kingswood House, and of course every educational institution, has a duty to make sure that its young people are open-minded and accepting and inclusive of others. That is very much in keeping with our values and indeed British values, full stop. We're incredibly excited to be hosting 2 sports days today. First of all, we have reception up to Year 6 this morning, and then Year 7 upwards this afternoon. Weather looks set fair. There are all sorts of activities on array. Thank you very much to Lisa Rees and the KHA, who will be providing refreshments. I believe I'm right in saying that there'll be some PIMS after lunch as well, so it should be a very convivial afternoon. I look forward to hearing all about fantastic sportsmanship, which is ultimately what it's all about. Achievement is one thing, effort is another. Sportsmanship remains by far and away, for me, the most important epithet of anything to do with crossing the proverbial white line onto the field of play. Now, next week, you are no doubt aware that we have multiple trips, lots of residentials, day trips as well. So it's going to be a scarcity of pupils and indeed teaching staff in the school next week. Consequently, next week we won't have mentions in dispatches until everyone's back safe and sound from their trips, and we will put that back by a week for the following week's edition, and we will feature lots of photographs, hopefully from the trips, across our social media channels and in the newsletter next week. So it will be very much a special edition newsletter, and dependent on what, if anything, is going on, I will do a blog or not, which will be confirmed nearer the time. In the meantime, I will move on to this week's mentions in dispatches shortly. I'm very much looking forward to the summer ball tomorrow, which will be held in the fantastic environment of the Queen's Stand Epsom Racecourse. It's been a long time since we've been able to host something in person. I know it is absolutely sold out. I'm very excited to be going, and I'm sure a lot of you will be too. So I cannot wait for that. In the meantime, well done to reception. Every single girl and boy has achieved their pencil licence, says Mr. Clerk. Well done equally for your work in tennis from Mr. Westcott. Well done to Leo Johnson, working very hard in maths, tackling some challenging problems. And equally, Madame Swift would like to compliment everybody in 2 and 3L for their enthusiasm in French. Toby Hazelden and Zach Bourne-Aran have caught the eye for their maths, particularly with decimals, says Miss Smith. Hugo Hawksley and Fraser Smith have been working well on plant dissection. Phoebe Folland and Freddie Latimer, exceptional efforts in their exams, which shows through in their results, says Miss Sumners. And Cyril Brockett-Deakins really showing endeavour in his hard work in French. Harvey Mufti has been a very good, consistent role model for others in the year group. Keep it up. Max Kenner and Benji Adams wrote really good agony aunt letters, very thoughtful and instructive to those with changing emotions. Kai Cho working well in the classroom and forging some good friendships, and well done to all of 6S for their excellent presentations on countries in North and South America, says Mr. Lordy. Mrs. Bloor would like to commend Harry Hewitt for his good work in OT. James Miller, Max Podoricic, Dylan Newman, Alyssa and Hanara, all pupils asked good questions in their careers enrichment sessions recently. Pippa Taylor has been a rock star and continued her involvement in all aspects of school life despite a fractured wrist. Well done for that endeavour, says Miss Patel. Lauren, Kieran, Harry and Jack Guiney have been working very well in geography recently. Well done to the Love Languages group in Year 7. A very creditable performance in the City of London Freeman's competition recently. In terms of good manners and behaviour, they were a credit to the school. James Downing and Alex Hayworth, Henry Rusco, Kishan and Bastian Versace, Connor Morley Alvarez are notable contributors. Finney Rosendale, well done to you. He has stepped up several gears, that's impressive, in history. For Mrs. Hornstetter, Dylan Bishop has been showing great endeavour in his sailing. Enzo Reid, a real improvement in his behaviour management, well done, particularly at break time when it's unstructured, of course. Eddie Collins, Krishan Idris, Mikey Sargis, Ty Bobo being helpful to staff. Connor Towers, lots of good work with area dominating maths. Theo Walker, demonstrating a much more mature attitude recently, talking to teachers rather than trying to do things all by himself. Theo, again, nominated for being focused and engaged in English from Mrs. Bray. Isaac Gahir, really good use of vocabulary in English. Excellent words like cacophony during a group discussion. Well done, Isaac. Theo Moffat, making sure his desk is clean and tidy before he leaves the science lab. Very good, says Mrs. Black. And well done to all of 8F and 8L who've produced some excellent presentations on climate change. Johnny Barnes has made a very thoughtful contribution to PSHE discussions this week. Max Lopez, really good work with maths. And well done from Mr. Barrett for their cricket recently. Liam McBride took 4 wickets on debut and hit 4 sixes. Tommy Van Mellet's really economical bowling. George Eddington, a high score of 28, not out. Howard Kim, 5 consecutive boundaries in his innings. Well done to the A team, a really good effort against Belmont, and although they didn't win, they showed excellent determination and it was a close game. They achieved their highest cumulative total of the season. Patrick Gray and Tarani have been networking and asking excellent questions at the Sixth Form Open Evening. Ben Hubbard, Archie Spicko and Courtney, really good work with their peers on the DV expedition last week. Ollie Ward making good notes in his maths. Keep it up, says Mrs. Lindley. Matty Mullin, Ted Bunny-Rames, excellent endeavour on their DV expedition, says Mr. Hendry. And equally, Mrs. O'Shea would like to commend the stamina, resilience and team spirit of Owen Courtney, Ben Holmes, Ben Hubbard, Bogdan Podrigora, Archie Spick, Nathan Ashwell, Ted Bunny-Rames, Rory Fitzpatrick and Ollie Sullivan. Josh Receive has been making some wise decisions. Ted Rees showing good application with his maths, good consistency, and Ali Al-Rubai deserves a shout out for continuing to try and go above and beyond with his midweek learning. Jack Bunyard-Ames showing good citizenship around the school, always polite and kind to others and striving to do his best. Fabulous history lesson recently from Ted Hartley. Well done, says Mrs. Hornstetter. Will Hamilton, always punctual with handing his books in science. And all Year 10 historians working hard and being fabulous. And finally, Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Hendry would just like to say we hope to see lots of nominations for good athleticism and sportsmanship. I echo that after Sports Day and indeed Trips Week in the days ahead. So that rounds off a very busy and fulfilling few days here at school. Long may it continue. We are obviously in the midst of report season at the moment and getting everything sorted for prize giving and of course planning ahead for what promises to be a super autumn term too. So lots going on here. In the meantime, have a very restful weekend.